I hope you didn't get that on time. And that's how we started.
Oh, she's going to be punchy tonight, folks. Watch out.
Oh my goodness. Well, what I was saying was I want to say thank you to all those who purchased items, and last but not least to the Friends of the Library, because they work their tails off for this book sale every year.
They always do.
Twice a year now. And so we are grateful to all of those people.
I think they actually pulled in some volunteers from the community to help them with the setup too.
Right,
That went
exactly.
really well, yeah.
Good.
We had a fallen comrade early in the year, and or late last year. Yeah, early in the year.
Mhm.
And so while she was recuperating, everyone else kicked in and did yeoman's work.
Fabulous.
Upcoming highlights. I didn't list everything because we have quite a few things to go over. But the June exhibit in the Fells Room will feature the artwork of Dolores Kosciuszko. It's watercolors, quite lovely. There will not be an artist reception per her request, but I do encourage people to come during the month of June and see these beautiful watercolors by Dolores. The 2016 Summer Reading Program kicks off on June 22nd and runs through August 17th. This is an all-ages national summer reading program, and it has a single theme that kind of branches out into the different age groups. And for 2016, it's a health and wellness themed event. For children, it's Ready, Set, Read. And for teens, it's Get in the Game, Read. And for adults, it's Exercise Your Brain, Read. Seeing a theme here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I didn't list all the programs because we're still, adding and, shifting around, but all of our summer reading events are, or will be in the next week or so, up on our website and listed on a flyer in the library. They in our June newsletter, which will be going out tomorrow. Thursday, as a matter of fact. So do check our website, www.crawfordlibrary.org, for the latest and greatest on that. There are a few highlights I wanted to mention for the summer reading program. And on Monday, June 6th, from 6 to 7:30, the Last Green Valley will be at the library talking about hiking and hiking safety for families. This is an all-ages event. There's no registration. And as I said, it's presented by the Last Green Valley. There will be a ranger there, and there will be one other person from the Last Green Valley, I believe someone talking about safety on the trails. Yes, that's Monday, June 6th, from 6 to 7:30. There is no registration for that. On Tuesday, the 21st, from 1 to 2, we are having our kickoff concert with Rick Golden. Rick's Reading Aerobics Music and Puppet Program is an upbeat and entertaining family concert. There's no registration for this, and that's actually sponsored by South County Community Partnership. They are the ones that we partner with for the Monday reading program, and Kathy participates in that program. That's sort of some collaborative effort between us and South County Community Partnership. So they're based in Oxford. So come visit us. That's June 21st from 1 to 2 to get our summer reading program kicked off. The very next day, on Wednesday, June 22nd, from 10 to 12, we will have Bugs the Clown and Friends at the library. This is our registration day, our official registration day. And that's for adults, teens, and children alike. They will be painting faces and making balloon animals. There's no registration. It's just something fun to have going on while we have our sign up for summer reading. And Thursday, June 23rd, from 6 to 7:30, we will welcome back Anya Manouge, who is a Celtic harpist. There's no registration for this event, but it does fill up very quickly, and I do encourage people to get there a little early, and that will be held in the Fells Room. That is sponsored by Friends of the Library, and we're grateful to them. Anya is a beautiful harpist, absolutely wonderful, and I hope it's not 1,000 degrees like it was last time. So, Fridays, this is just something new that I wanted to mention. Fridays, Kathy has added Teen Game Day. It's sponsored by Friends of the Library. They purchased some different games that the teens had recommended. The Teen Advisory Group recommended some various great games. So we're going to do this on Fridays from 2 to 4 and see what happens. No registration for this. Drop on by. On Tuesday, June 28th through August 2nd, and I'm not 100% sure this will happen on every single Tuesday. We're still awaiting confirmation that it will be 6 consecutive Tuesdays, but people can call the library to double check when they register. We are holding a karate program. It's for grades 4 through 12, so it kind of spans, the youth, tween kind of age group. It will be run by a guy who has a karate studio in Webster. His name completely escapes me. Mike Dussault? Starts with a J. That doesn't start with a J. Anyway, that's going to be at the library. It's sponsored by Friends. It will be, the first day is Tuesday, June 28th, 11:15 to 12. And I'm 90% sure it will be the 6 consecutive Tuesdays from 11:15 to 12. And sign up is required for that. So check into the library for that. On Thursday, June 30th, from 6 to 7:30, our genealogy group welcomes back Jeff Carpenter to present on DNA Part 2. He came back in October or possibly even November to talk about DNA and how having your DNA tested can tell you who you are and who you're related to, that kind of thing. And now he's coming back to do part 2. Presumably people will have gone and gotten their DNA tested, and so now he's coming back to present on what to do with the results of your DNA test. So if you haven't gotten it done already, you've got a little bit of time. That's on Thursday, June 30th from 6 to 7:30. And for people who don't know, you can actually go to Ancestry.com's website, and they have a DNA testing link there. So you have to pay for it and everything. But so it's interesting. I haven't done it yet, but I probably will. So hopefully I'm not related to anyone notorious, or I guess that would be kind of fun.
Kind of fun, actually, yes.
Registration is not required, but I do encourage it and that's mostly so that we know how many handouts, because Jeff does make handouts for that. And that is also sponsored by Friends of the Library. There are a host of other programs that we hold on a regular basis, either weekly or monthly, that people can view on our website calendar. As I said, www.crawfordlibrary.org. And these are just a sampling of some of the programs we have going on.
Very good.
Assorted items. The library will be closed on Monday, May 30th in observance of Memorial Day. I will be having a staff meeting tomorrow, May 26th, 8:30 to 10. We'll be talking about summer reading program for that because we have a lot going on. It's important, and it's Tasha's first time going through this. We don't want her to run screaming for the hills. The Friends of the Library annual meeting will be on Monday, June 13th at 2 p.m. That's their normal meeting, except that this one is their annual meeting. The Strawberry Festival is going to be the Dudley Strawberry Festival is going to be on Thursday, June 16th And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we normally close early for that.
Yes.
And I can't remember if it's 4 or 4:30. But I know, it's one of those, isn't it? It hasn't officially been announced yet, but I just want to put it out there because I know it's going to happen. So we will put it up on our page, and it'll be up on our sign as well. So just wanting to give people a heads up, because that is a Thursday, and that's one of our late nights. And that's so that staff and their families will be able to partake. It's a wonderful time. I will be attending several meetings. It seems like they saved them all for the month of June. We have our CW Mars User Council meeting in June, resource sharing, our annual resource sharing meeting in June, the Directors Roundtable, which is an every other month thing, and believe it or not, it's time for the ARIS report again.
But it seems like you just did it.
It does seem like that's, for those of you who don't know, ARIS is, I couldn't even tell you what it stands for, but it's our state report. And so that's where I supply them with all of the numbers that they ever wanted to know but were afraid to ask. And that is in part what determines our state aid and our certifiability. That's a word. Any questions before we dive into the budget stuff?
Go right ahead.
Okay, great. The first thing is the one that has the blue and the green, and we might as well just look at that pretty quick because we're doing okay. This is our FY16. We've got another month and week left, give or take. And I'm so far so good. I think by this time last year we were tapping into our state aid. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. One step in the right direction. We're not going to make it through the end of the year, I don't think. But we're certainly into June.
Good job.
So, any questions on that? Okay. Time's up. And last night, our FY17 budget was approved. There's a copy of that in your handout. This is essentially the same thing that Greg and I had been working off of. I haven't had time to put it into a pretty format like my other one yet, but I figured you'd want to know what I plan to put where. And you can see the bottom line is 280, 528.89, which is a little shy of what I asked for, but better than what we had last year, and a definite step in the right direction. It'll enable me to pay my staff and pay my bills and not much more. I had some of the difference there, the delta between what I asked for and what I got was we are coming up on needing some new computers. So I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do with that situation yet. I may just try to limp along and start to wait, try to just kind of develop a plan. We need a tech plan anyway. So I think I'm just going to stay status quo for the time being. Try to continue to update what we have. I'm not going to make any major investments in the equipment. The computers we have now, I'm probably not going to spend any big money fixing anything right now. We do have, a sufficient number of computers to serve the needs of our patrons at the moment. So I don't need to add any. And if one or two went kaput, I probably wouldn't replace them until I had a plan in place for, a comprehensive plan is what I mean to say. Yeah. So that was a big hunk that I had taken out. And then I just tweaked some other line items here and there. So, does anyone have any questions on this? It is based upon historical numbers, so expenses that I have already incurred over the last 3 years, just kind of learning from my past budgets and my past expenditures, and there's no fluff. It also accommodated the salary adjustments that were in accordance with the town hall adjustments that were made in, I think, earlier in the year. So
the biggest impact is the computers.
You mean in the difference between
the inability to replace existing equipment?
Yeah, and there's things I can do. I'm not sure how much state aid I'm going to end up with at the end of the year, so I don't want to count on that. I can't really count on that because we've been relying upon state aid for years, and so every year a bite gets taken out of the state aid pool, and now I'm at the point where I don't want to assign things for that money until I have my bills paid, because that's my top priority.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the allocation for the upcoming year does not meet the needs to run the library completely. But
Not completely.
But it's much closer than it has been.
Sure thing.
And so we will be able to meet this, and we will be hitting state aid just like we have in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and the other problem is it's kind of a double whammy, because not only are we taking big bites out of that state aid, but the state budget, I believe, had some severe cuts in it that will impact both our assessment. You'll see that I actually had to allocate more money into the assessment. The assessment came in at over $16,000. I was not anticipating that, but it came in after I put together my budget. So the way they do it is they sent. I just got it last week, and it's not to exceed like $16,500. That's pretty close to what they're telling me, and it's probably pretty close to what I'm going to see. Now, that's due in part to two things. One is they've rolled in the overdrive fee into that assessment, so I can actually take that. Overdrive is the ebook, one of our ebook resources, which we purchased through CW Mars, our consortium. And but that amount of money, let's say $1,500, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but that I can actually break out and count as materials towards my, So, but for purposes of paying the bill, you know what I mean? It's on this piece of paper. I have to put it in for what it is, and I mean, really, it's probably going to be more like 16,000. And the other thing impacting that is the diminishing budget from the state, because that trickles down to all the consortiums, and then it trickles down to the libraries that they serve via the assessments. Okay, so that's how that works.
And state aid may get chopped.
Yes,
It
definitely.
did last year.
Right.
We got less last year, halfway through the game.
Right.
All of a sudden,
That's what I meant when I said it's a double whammy,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we're getting a whack in the assessment and
two different directions.
a whack in the assessment, and then that's for sure. And then we're getting less from the state, so we're seeing it. It's just going to hurt no matter what. So Anyway, so that's the deal. And that's why it's important that we try as hard as we can to meet our expenditures without having to tap into state aid. And really, the best thing to do is use the state aid for things like buying new computers if we need them, if and when we need them, because that you can pile up for a couple of years and then replace your computers if you need to, because that's a very large sum of money.
Right.
But you don't do it every year, so.
And we've been open 5 years, so there are a few things that need
Six
to be done.
almost.
Yeah, almost 6. You're right.
Right.
So things.
So, yeah. So that's the long and the short of it. Any questions on that? Anything you see that looks out of whack?
No, you've kept us abreast of this whole process, and it's
Yeah.
pretty much gone the way you said it would,
Right.
which is good. Thank you.
So that's that. And under the facilities portion, I'm still waiting for Leo to install the piece of hardware that will more efficiently run the server for the cameras. He should be by on Friday.
Good.
And then the DVD shelving, I had been putting off for a couple of months because I was still gathering my information. I now have all of that information, and I would like to. We are nearly out of shelving space for that, and we're about to add a whole bunch of nonfiction DVDs. They're educational DVDs. Quite a few of them were donated, but there were some from the History Channel and ones that I think they're in mint condition. So I want to add them because they do circulate.
Good.
And
homeschoolers.
oh yeah,
I think that's popular.
Once we get them added, we'll probably do a feature. A feature display, and maybe run a little program or something. But we don't have anywhere to put them right now, so we haven't been in a huge rush to catalog them. So what I did was I went back to the company, Creative Library Concepts, the company that did all of the the shelving and stuff. And when I need a metal shelf or something, I'll go back to them and order a metal shelf. But they made the wood furniture and the shelving and the current CD shelving, DVD shelving. And I asked them for a price to build one more 3-foot double-sided section, which is really what I think I need for right now. Mostly because I don't have any other space, and I guess that's the biggest reason. I just don't have space for anything but a double-sided, but I think that will be enough to last us for, at least another year or two.
So basically, to match exactly what we have there,
Mhm.
take an end cap off, put a unit in, and put the end cap back on, so it'll be that much, just 3 feet longer, basically?
It's going to be 3 feet longer, but I'm not sure if I'm going to leave both end caps on or take them off and have that be and butt them together and have them be a standalone display.
Oh, okay.
Because I need to comply with ADA requirements for the ends of those
Correct.
that long DVD shelving area. So I don't want to make it too much of a squeeze. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that looks when the time comes. So that quote came back at $4,048 for 2 3-foot, matching double-sided sections. So then what I did was I remembered someone telling me that Ernie Morse, who does a lot of our woodwork in the library and has matched it up to the existing stuff, who's local. I thought I remembered someone telling me he had retrofitted the existing shelving
He
because
did.
there was a problem with it.
He did.
And so I went back. He has come back with a quote for an identical 3-foot double-sided section at $2,578.34. And I am requesting to use gift funds to purchase that through Ernie Morse.
And I'll just ask, do you mean gift funds or do you mean the Hugh and Harriet Crawford Endowment Fund Award?
I'm not sure.
This is a perfect thing to use the human.
Sure.
Yes, that's a perfect item.
Mhm.
So we'll do
I
the
think
transfer.
I think we have available funds.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
I have it already, in the gift fund account,
Right.
so it can just be attributed to the Hugh and Harriet
Yes.
Crawford. So yes, thank you for that clarification. So my request is that we go with Ernie Morse because we know
no-brainer.
he's a known quantity.
Big difference.
It's a huge difference. He won't be able to. And I probably have the same issue with Library Concepts. I don't believe we'll see the piece of furniture until August. So that's okay. We'll figure it out until then. So I am requesting that I be able to spend the $2,578.34 from the Hugh and Harriet Crawford Endowment for purchase of this additional DVD shelving.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I just like the idea that we're using local. I mean, it's great. We know Ernie has proven himself over and over again in the library, and it's neat that he's less expensive, but it's also we're giving work to our local community, which is fabulous.
Yeah, and he said when he brings it, we can kind of eyeball, do we like it, with the end cap there, you know what I mean? And, so he's willing to.
That sounds like one of the better aspects of this in dealing with someone local, that if you have any issues, it's easier probably to get them than it would be to some corporate entity at some distance.
Oh yeah, no, Ernie is very good about coming down and like checking things out, and he's very responsive to you, so that's fabulous. So, we have a motion, a second, and discussion. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you.
I'll only drive him a little bit crazy like I do my husband. Move it over there a little bit. Nope, changed my mind. Put it back the other way. Thank you very much. I know the look I'm going to get from him.
Me too.
Okay, so...
Old business. Old business, we go to the job description that you gave us for the youth service.
Yes, that is also something that is in front of you. I didn't make any substantive changes other than adding young adult, the words young adult or teen. I didn't feel the need to put teen in parentheses throughout the description because I did it up above. I just wanted to clarify up in the top paragraph that young adult is teen, pretty much. It's just what it's called.
So is this, at this point, is this person doing the purchasing for the teen room?
Correct.
And it's also obviously running the teen group, we know that.
Yes.
What other duties associated with the teen area?
Organization of, it's pretty much the same duties as,
Okay.
So
she just has another room to deal with.
Exactly, and another population.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
an expansion of the library. Libraries have over the past, I would say, 5-ish years, gone from having separate, at least the ones with our population size, not the big ones. Those continue to have separate librarians because they have the budget to do so. But smaller libraries and medium-sized libraries have gone over to having a youth services librarian who heads up birth through high school. And they typically have an assistant that works with them on a part-time, usually on a part-time basis. So that will be something we'll probably need to explore as we grow this. But that person handles children and young adult, so up to age 18. After 18, they're considered adult in the library world.
And it's logical. I mean, she starts with a relationship with these kids from day one, and they always come running back to her anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really helped, get some of the kids to come to some of the programs. And, like I said, it's Kathy's been doing this already. This was an experiment pretty much of trying to see whether or not she would be comfortable with, taking on this responsibility. And, she's doing a good job at it. I commend her. I would like to reward her monetarily with this, but I think the first step is we need to make it official. And with the passage of the budget last night, I will be able to reward her financially as well.
Good.
And I plan to do so. So there's nothing, I had recently gone through this. As you can see, I struck it out 8/26/14 back when the Personnel Board asked us to update all the job descriptions. I did that. I pretty much reamed this job description from top to bottom, and I didn't feel a need to do that again. They may ask again, in another couple of years. And as we go along, I may tweak it here and there, obviously get approval from you after. But I didn't make any big changes to it other than just to expand the scope to include that age group.
Alrighty.
So would you like a chance to read through it, or would you like me to read it? How would you like to do this?
I think we can just go through.
Sure. And just ask questions as you go through.
Well, I mean, as you said, in red, the changes are mainly just the age. So you haven't changed a lot in here. It's mainly the age group that you keep
adding
mentioning.
that,
Yeah.
adult, right.
I did, the only thing I did was, there was some, wording that I thought was superfluous in one of the sentences, so.
If I may, it says develops, publicizes, implements, and evaluates children's and young adults programming.
Where are you, Richard?
Maybe halfway down on the first page. Sentence begins, it's under essential functions. The third bullet under that, develops,
Thanks.
publicizes.
Oh, okay.
It's, and then programming, that's period, and what I assume had been there, including story hours and summer reading programs, has been stricken.
Because programming includes, that's what I meant when I said I struck some wording that I thought was just,
So programming, summer reading, and the rest of that would be
Includes it all.
redundant,
Programs.
is what you're
it's
saying?
just all programming,
Okay. So, but nothing is being, it's not going away, it's just...
Oh, no, it's
under
not
a
going
different
away.
name. Okay.
Trust me. I can leave it in if you want.
No, that's just
You
clarification.
can just make it.
I'm sure everyone else understood it, that was the weak link there, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the new job description for the Youth Services Librarian.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Any other old business to come before us?
I just wanted to let you,
Yes.
I did show this to Kathy.
Oh, good.
She is aware of this.
Good.
She's been kept in the loop on this. She knows what the intent has been all along. So just so you know, that I don't want you to think that this is something we're going to drop on her by surprise.
Good. Again, any other old business? All right, let's go to new business. The library director's contract.
Okay. We met, Ben and I met with the town administrator right before this meeting, as a matter of fact, to get his guidance on this, as Karen's employment agreement is dated through July 8th of this year. So
You've been here 3 years already. Yahoo.
So he made, other than updating the dates, he made a few changes. For example, changing hire to employ and offer to employment. Just some minor things, just to bring it up to date. The initial employment period and sentence removed. I will do this update and send it around to everyone to review. And what we need to do here today is to get a vote of the trustees to offer Karen the updated employment agreement. So I would like a motion to go ahead and do that.
So moved.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we offer it without reading it? I mean, without even knowing what it says?
If you'd like to,
But you just said you were going
You
to
send it around
email
for
it.
review.
yeah, I'm going to email it to everyone, but we're
Okay.
not going to sign it or do anything until the next meeting.
Right. The process Greg had talked about was tonight getting the offer voted in, and then with the actual agreement, we actually vote it. And if we don't like it, we don't vote it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why there's a two-step process.
So we're going to vote to make an offer,
Make the offer.
the offer to be defined at a later date, and a separate vote
Yeah.
to enact that.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
How did the, I mean, I guess I don't really, I wonder about the 3-year thing. Because I looked at the statute and in chatting with some of my colleagues, none of them sign contracts.
Really?
And it's, I have the statute sitting in front of me, and I just wondered, you know, it's, I realized that it was a 3-year contract,
Right.
and I signed on for the 3 years, and that was a commitment to me. But I wondered to myself, you know, at least one of my predecessors resigned prior to 3 years. So what good is having a 3-year? That's my question. Or shouldn't it just be, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from firing me if you're unhappy with my performance.
We have to have cause.
Well, yes, I know that. But that doesn't, you know, what kind of, you know, binding does that give?
What legal standing?
Yeah.
Does it have any?
It's confusing for me because, like, let's say in a year and a half, you know, I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but, you know, there's nothing keeping me from resigning in a year and a half. So I don't understand what the 3 years is. You know what I mean? I just
Looking
don't
at
get
that,
it.
it lays out what you receive. I mean, again,
As it was a union. I think that's what it is with some of the other superintendents, or when they have a contract, it's really not really a contract, it's preset raises. That'd be outside of, almost like a union. I think that's what happened. Otherwise, they had that same conversation, it's like, what does it do?
well,
But
we
that's
can,
really not in here. There's no preset
No.
increases.
No.
there
No.
isn't.
I don't
No.
think that's
So-
what it
And
is.
just to let you know, no other exempt employee has a contract
Well, the
here.
thing is that's part of Mass General Law, though,
Oh.
that the library director is
Yeah.
under agreement.
Under
Well-
agreement, but not contract necessarily? Is there
The
The way the law,
semantics there?
the way the law is written, it
Mhm.
says, "The Board of Trustees of a free public library in any city or town, or in the absence of such board, the city or town official possessing the appointed powers of such board shall, except in the case of those employees subject to the provisions of Chapter 150E," I don't know what that is, "execute a written employment contract with an employee of said library outlining the basic conditions of employment, including but not limited to the establishment of a probationary period and the procedure for dismissal during this period, and the establishment of a procedure which specifies the cause for dismissal after the completion of such probationary period." And that's the end of that. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, I'll have to say that it was established well before I became.
Yeah,
involved.
I know that, and I think that the actual statute's been revised since that contract has been, you know, updated. So I guess my thing is, you know, I'm uncomfortable signing another 3-year contract, you know, because to me that's a commitment, and I can't guarantee that I'll, you know, I mean,
Win the lottery.
well, no, it's just I just don't know where the 3 years comes from, and why is it that way when I can at any time, submit my resignation with no ramifications whatsoever, or you could conversely, take steps to,
I suspect that it was just the idea of signing an open-ended contract.
But it's not open-ended.
Well, I think
This is like more like
it
a
isn't,
statement of
but
intent.
I think
than
it's the
anything else.
alternative to it. I think perhaps when they were discussing it 10, 20 years ago or whatever they did, they determined that they would put a time span on it.
Okay. I just wanted to bring it up because it seems like, I mean, I did ask around to,
Well, that's
other,
good. Do they sign an agreement? None. Nothing.
Employees that will.
I thought you just said they had to.
I was going to say.
By the Mass General Law, it is
And
unless that, except
That's
in the
the
case of those employees subject to the provisions of Chapter 150E. I don't know what Chapter 150E is, so that may, maybe that's...
And does
All
it
right.
have to be 3 years? Oh, it can be years.
It doesn't sound like it's.
Doesn't sound like so, may I make the suggestion that the vote is to offer you, and then the whole process, just to keep the process going by July 8th, we may change this completely. But just make you an offer. We're not saying what it's going to be, but just say you're still employed, and we will tweak this and do more investigation. And if it's just keeping it open-ended, and if we don't need one, then we'll make that a vote in July.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's do some investigation.
I have no plans to depart. I
Thank
just want
you.
you to know that.
I was gonna say.
now. But, when I sign my name to something that, that indicates 3 years, I kind of feel compelled to honor that.
Thank you.
And I can't say, for 100%, with 100% certainty, that would happen.
No, I respect and appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've had other
Is the
situations.
duration that's most troubling as far as you see this?
I don't think there should be a duration.
Shouldn't
I
be.
think it should be,
Offer you the job.
if it gets reviewed, every, you do my review every year. You don't offer me the job again, do you?
That's why it was taken out.
Right.
It's just employment, not hire. That's what Greg changed the
Right.
word from hire to employment.
Yeah, I guess I was confused because, the offer of employment is extended from, is it extended from the town? It was confusing to me. You know what I mean? It's that murky water between, the Board of Trustees and the town.
Now, Greg has similar wording in his contract. I don't
Yeah.
know if he has a duration.
Yeah, and he reports to a board as well. No, it's not that I had a little bit of an issue with. I think it was the the designation of 3 years. And, like I said, when I sign my name to something, I'm committed to it. And I guess I don't want to be tied to 3 years. So my preference is that, if
We'll look into it, yeah. 'Cause,
that you look into it. Exactly.
Number 3, it says the purpose of the agreement is to outline the basic conditions of employment. That's perfect, because that's what it should be. That's what you want. But number 4, term of employment, we just say goodbye to that almost. Just the purpose of this is to outline the basic conditions of employment. But we'll look into it.
Yeah,
We'll work together. But if we need to offer this, Greg said we need to get this vote. May we get a vote to offer you this agreement? And we'll see what this agreement's going to actually be at our next meeting. We'll probably be passing pieces of paper around to proofread before we get together again.
We do need an agreement.
Yes. Yeah, we have to have some sort of agreement. We'll make this work. So I have a motion to offer you an agreement of employment.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. With
Thank
more,
you for
with
looking.
more to come. No, this is great.
I appreciate it.
No, this is great.
Figured if I didn't open my mouth and say something now.
Oh, gosh, yeah, no. No.
I would hate for you to
No,
offer it to me and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't sign this.
Yeah.
We would have had a conversation with you before then.
I'm sorry.
What? I I haven't given you the key to that lock tying you to your desk.
Union contract, we can't.
Yeah.
That's
We'll,
what it was.
we'll make it work. Okay, the sign policy.
Well, it's just on here. I had asked Pat to put the sign on here because I'm not 100% sure we need one, but I wanted to just throw this out here because, oh, we've got
Getting
time.
close, yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
What time is your meeting, please?
It's at 7 o'clock.
Is that 7?
Yeah.
We'll be done pretty
We are
soon.
planning to be out of here in 7 minutes.
Okay. 7 minutes? Okay. Cool beans. I'm just going to put this down then.
All right.
Right here. Steal it.
Don't worry,
Only if we can get good money
I got
for
enough stuff.
I hadn't,
Sorry.
I got the keys that are worth something.
Okay, now it's going to be 8 minutes though.
I hadn't planned to put anything in writing, and then lo and behold, and I'm pretty, I've been pretty good about putting things up on the sign, but I did get a couple of requests that made me start to think, do we need something? One of them was for, obviously the Dudley Land Trust plant sale, which I put up. And then after that went up, I received another request from a local church about putting, a food, another event up. And then I started to think to myself, I better check with the trustees and see if they
You
want
probably
to
do need
put,
something.
Put-
Dudley related.
put some parameters around it. I mean, there's I look at this, there's two arguments for this. And this is why I decided to throw it out there for you. You decide, because I can't. The sign is for the good of the community. It's first and foremost to announce programs and library-related things. That's how I feel. That's the top priority. The second tier from that is town-related items. So I announced the town meeting. I am going to put the election up there. If there was an emergency, I would put that up there. Things of that nature. So town-related items. And then, do we want to put nonprofit type announcements up there?
Can I ask, we had no pre-existing sign policy. I know the sign is dramatically changed in terms of the format, the appearance, but we had nothing previously.
We wouldn't have really been able to, because it couldn't change like
We
this.
barely could put our
Well,
own things up there.
I'm wondering if at some point we had
No.
somehow developed some thoughts.
So I did some poking around to see, because obviously this is something you just know that there's no reason to reinvent the wheel on this, right? And I came up with, most of the municipalities do have something in the form of messages are to be posted by the library director or library or a designee or library trustee. Requests to post message are to be directed to the library director. Sign will operate between the hours of thus and such and thus and such, which I do know what those hours are because I set them. Community messages and town department messages will be incorporated into the library's rotating messages with a ratio of no more than 1 to 5 messages. I thought that was interesting because if I have a lot of library programs going on, I guess this is my sticking point, is if I have a ton of programs going on, I don't want to fill it up even more because obviously I can only go so fast with the rotation. And trust me, people have been letting me know that it's too
Yes,
fast
I've heard
right now.
comments that we can't read it fast enough. I'm looking at the sign. I'm supposed to be paying
I get
attention to my
feedback.
driving.
I get feedback on a daily basis.
Yes.
It's okay. I appreciate it because I don't sit there and
We
stare.
have distracted drivers more than usual in Dudley.
So, do you want to give me some parameters? You want to have some discussion about that? We don't have to decide anything right now, but do we want to bat around whether or not, do we need something?
I think we should.
I
Might
do
as well-
too.
Yeah, I think we do. Because you don't want to do my birthday party out there on the sign.
And that's exactly
Well.
right. It gives me,
It's already perfect.
you know what that does? It allows me
Demise.
to point. It allows me to point to a policy,
Yeah, say,
and it
sorry.
takes a lot of the onus off
Yeah.
of me,
Right.
and it makes it a little bit more black and white for me. Because I'll want to put everything up there for everybody, and you just can't. I don't think.
So how many different sign policies did you come up with from other
Oh,
libraries or other
I just picked a
communities?
couple because they all
Yeah.
started to sound the same after a
Okay.
while. They state who can update it. It says the purpose of the electronic message board sign is to promote and market library services, programs, events, and resources. Content is limited to library-sponsored or co-sponsored events, library services and resources, town department announcements, community announcements in which the library is a participant. Decisions on inclusion of town announcements shall be determined by the library director or the board of trustees.
That sounds pretty good.
I really liked it.
Again, don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You want to put together our version of,
Sure.
put stealing
Change
pieces
Hooks at
here.
Library to Crawford Library Committee. Actually, the time that ours runs is a little bit more.
Okay, you may have to change
Yeah.
8 words.
I
No.
And then it theirs regurgitates the town electronic sign regulations, which are under review, I believe, right now by Nelson. So I don't feel a need to put that up there.
Okay.
And then so this is another one. They all basically say the same thing. They're all a variation on that theme.
Good. I mean, yeah,
That
so we'll
sounded
bring it up
pretty
at our
good.
next meeting, and
All right.
if you want to.
I'll cobble something together, and if you want, I can email it to
Email it to
everybody
us
and
and we'll
say,
read
this
it
is,
beforehand.
here's
We
a
can-
draft, bring it, have a look, bring it with you, don't,
Bring questions, yeah.
Yeah, bring questions, or bring
Perfect.
comments, and that way we can kind of move right through it.
Perfect.
next time.
So, next
Okay.
meeting, perfect.
And so the Crawford,
Yeah, the last thing on our agenda is the Crawford family visit. On Saturday, June 11th, when the library is closed, the Crawford family will be gathering at the library for a period of time in memory of Harriet Crawford, who died recently. And they lived in Florida. They are coming back to Webster and Dudley for a service and the memorial service. And we've been requested to host the post-funeral gathering. And we thought that was deemed appropriate, and I appreciate everybody's support on that, the trustees' support on that. Met with 2 of the daughters today, and they are very appreciative, all of Dudley's support for them, and we told
And
them
will
it
that
was
be
mutual.
the library that will be hosting, the trustees that will be hosting,
The-
or the town of
The
Dudley?
family will be. I talked to the town administrator, and we are sending a letter saying that the trustees approved. And I spoke with everyone. We should do that in a particular vote, that we approve the Crawfords using the library for a post-funeral gathering on June 11th.
I would like to move.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any questions, comments?
Is this just for the family, or is it open to the public?
It's not open to the public. This will be the
They'll
funeral.
invite.
Yeah, it'll be at their invitation. Yeah, there'll be more than just the immediate family, but it'll be their invitation. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Did you send that note to Greg? Thank you. All right.
Would there be library staff? Does someone have to be there?
I told Greg that would be, Karen's already announced that she'll be there. I will be there. I'm assuming you might be there. And your family friend, and then I'm assuming Pat. I mean, we happen to have 3 trustees who knew the Crawfords personally, who will probably be at the funeral already. So-
I'm pretty sure Kathy's going to.
And Kathy's spoken, the people who have met the Crawfords.
We're not going to, I am going to open the library because, they did,
Oh, sure. No, just wondering what the mechanics were in terms of who had.
Right, we will make sure, yeah.
oh yeah, I'll be
Lock the
there
door at the
to
end and-
disarm the alarm, get things set up, work with the family, kind of make it go smoothly for them.
Right.
Is what I've offered. And Kathy did say that she is on vacation that week, and so I let her off the hook, but she was very nicely offered to come in. She said she wanted to be there. She did work on the building committees with the group, so. But, there won't be any computers on or anything like that. It would be mostly so people, friends of the family, would be able to go through the library and see
Oh,
the
so
beautiful library.
Yeah.
It's
There are
a
some
welcoming space.
There are
Right.
some
For the
family
members.
members, there are some family members who haven't seen the library
Okay.
and didn't make it to the grand opening, who don't live nearby, and they will be here for the service. And I know there are a few of Mr. Crawford's friends that fall into that same category, and they will be here for the funeral, and they will want to see the Crawford Library.
Do you know the time yet?
The service is at 10, and then we will be coming back to the library, so I'm guessing it'll be close to noon by the time we get back to the library.
I think it'll be nice. It's really fitting.
Yes. All right, and our next meeting is June 28th, right here. Be here, please. And if there's nothing else to come before us, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All righty, all in favor? So moved. Thank you very much.